sounds like Ted Turner. Ted Turner's famous statement back in the 80s about how he didn't want to go to heaven because it would be the boringest place in the world to go to.
A lot of these people have an idea that, heaven would be having one big giant church on earth and everyone believing exactly the way they do.
Everybody's got a harp and they're sitting on a cloud. And
yeah, but that's not the way it is because, look, Jesus himself is fairly busy. He is busy in billions of ways. He's billions of places at once. He's a busy person. Okay? And if you think it would be boring being like him, think again about what he does. Think again about the function of angels. And then you'll see it's not boring at all. There's a lot to do. And will there be other worlds that will be like this one, filled with iniquity, the opposite mirror matrix kind of world? I don't know. I can tell you this, that time is completely irrelevant, and that the place you were born into in time, you could have just as easily been born at the crucifixion, or you could be born beyond Armageddon.
Well, we're living right now in a very crucial time in history.
This is a great time to be alive, because this is the time where not only, it's the time of the glorification of God, where God makes his presence known at long last, where he comes to not only rescue his saints, but this is where the dead in Christ rise up with Jesus and come to the earth to be installed as the new king, the king of the kingdom that will go forever and ever and ever and ever, the truth, the life, and the way it will always be. And every knee will bow to God. Ultimately, every person, every soul will be broken. And it's not a religion that we follow. It's simply our Maker. That's all, and he's the one that has the kingdom. But the church of this world is the church of Satan, because Satan has been allowed to have dominion over all man's institutions. So even though, a lot of people are good people that try to work within the system. I know them, and they don't do very well.
Yeah, we have to be, one of them to really get anywhere in the system. We know that all of the intelligence agencies, anybody that's even going to make it the President of the United States has to come from within these secret societies that are pushing this hidden agenda to bring Satan to power.
Look, loyalty demands that they go to hell. Loyalty demands that they take an oath to go to hell before they're given a position. Loyalty demands that where their boss is going, they vow to go with him there too. Now, if you don't have the stomach for that, or if that's not the way you want to live, then you will be persecuted.
They take these Christians out of positions, these Christians that get into governmental positions and then don't go along with the game. They find themselves having cancers and sicknesses and diseases that are caused to hurt them and get them out.
And I know the biggest thing for our people is this, forgiveness. You have just got to learn forgiveness if you want to move down the path, because you have every reason to hate. You have every reason to be bitter. You have every reason to be angry or even hateful toward God. You have every reason. Every person that follows this path is like Job. Everyone. And they're nasty to you. And they've lied. And they have destroyed everything that you hoped for. Most of our people are lonely. And they're considered losers in this world.
Yeah.
And their families have turned against them. And they are the black sheep, and they're the unwanted, they're the untouchables. They're people no one wants anything to do with. Well, even though you may have many gifts to share, and you may have a heart of gold, and you may just want to give yourself in the service of helping other people, and they won't even let you do that.
Well, that's true, Zeph, and Jesus said it would be like this.
It's hard to walk this walk. It's not easy to live this kind of life.
Well, that's very true. It's very hard to walk the true Christian path. It's easy to just sit in the church and believe once saved, always saved, and go home for the week.
Well, yes, and so the church accommodates how hard it is and makes it a little easier, doesn't it?
A lot easier.
In the last days he says evil is going to wax worse and worse and worse, and that's simply because the facade, the whole facade and reality, the false reality that we see, is going to start slipping away, and the evil's just going to come out more to the forefront. It's already there.
You know, a lot of these people at the outside of this Satanism, they actually, they know something's wrong, but they don't know what it is. They know they've done wrong, but they don't know what it is. They know they went through something. They know they gave something up, but they don't know what it is. And a lot of them that perish in the Sheol, they only find out when they're there in the realm of the dead what happened.
Yeah, you know,
because they're mind controlled to think they're good.
You'd like to almost, you know, see the sheer horror of these millions of people who are giving their money and support to these beast prophets, to realize that every Sunday they've been going and sitting in a literal church of Satan, where the pastor has dedicated himself to Satan, not the Lord, and he'll sit there and speak about the Lord, but he speaks with a double tongue.
Yeah, he'll speak about, that's right, Sherry. He'll speak about God, but he tells lies in his name as well, and the money just flows.
Yeah, and the thing is, unless the pastor gets out a big dagger and takes, you know, the nearest choir girl and slices her up and down, you know, and passes out cups of her blood, unless something like that happens, they're not going to believe it.
Yeah, they don't believe it.
What we're talking about.
Yeah, do you believe something like that is coming to this world? That open Satanism?
Well, it's been awfully good for Satan to have it be a tree of knowledge thing all this time. You know, to have all the perversions and all that stuff covered with this overlay of mom and apple pie. That's been wonderful. Because that's why most people, they think, hey, if I go to that other side and I'm sick of my family starving, I'm going to go to that other side. You know, there's good, noble motives. But they think it's covered, so I'll go ahead and do it. I'll corrupt myself into that way, because then no one will see it really, see? So I'll go ahead and do it. A lot of people wouldn't step up if it was open like that.
You know what, Zeph, I wanted to bring this up, is that one of the things that is starting to rise here in America, and it's just starting with a few churches, but it's going to start coming more and more dominant, just like the same other stuff does, the voodoo dust, and all the other lies and crap they try to put in churches and pass off as truth, is this whole holy sex thing that's coming up. It's straight from the pit of hell, where people go to church and they actually receive salvation and forgiveness of their sins by having sex with one of the considered holy priests or priestesses of that church.
Oh, well, that's an old trick.
Wait, that's the ancient Gnostic sex rite, Sherry.
Yeah, it's the whole Ishtar thing, and it's starting to come about in churches here in America.
Yeah, secret societies are all based on that, by the way. Secret societies are all based on sex between men.
Well, I thought I was reading something about a satanic coven ritual somewhere in here. It's stuff that's going on in some of the churches today.
Yeah, how about it? Sherry, Jeff, did you see that movie with Tom Cruise, Eyes Wide Shut?
I've seen it several times.
I couldn't get past 5 minutes. The mind control was just so bad. But
I've seen it.
But I believe that's going on in many places, because wouldn't Satanists use sex as a lure to get people into it?
It's a lure. You know, the open defiling in front of other people. You know, it's always multiple people, right? It's always you're doing something in front of someone else who's watching. That's their way, and look. That's the way it is, wall to wall, coast to coast, around the world. Once people are in on that side, as my friend Jane Whiting said, she goes, well, once you're initiated, once you self-corrupt, once you do whatever it is they want you to do to get in, then it's open season. Anything goes after that. So, you know, there is no monogamy in satanic couples.
Don't they reveal a lot of what they're doing through Hollywood today, and a lot of these movies that are coming out that's revealing what they're doing in form of fiction?
Yeah, they eventually will just blatantly put it out there that, you know, like it'll be all right to have, but they couch it in secular terms. They make it look like, oh, that's just sex between consensual couples, or that's just like a little wife swapping. What's the big deal? You know, eventually they'll have like, well, gee, this guy really loves this boy who's 12 years old, and why shouldn't they have sex? After all, you know, gosh, he really just loves that boy, you know?
It sounds almost like what we hear with Michael Jackson.
Or, you know, if you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger, who they're grooming, that they want for the President of the United States because he could also bring forth a global government agenda, is the fact that all of his movies has done with a child, a small boy. And they call him the man boy, Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, man.